Welcome back, everyone, to the weekly special. I'm always your host, Garrett. To my left.
I'm Josh.
Earl.
I'm Jordan.
And we're back again. Episode 2 feels good, doesn't it? Get that, episode 1 vibes out of the way, and now you're just rubbing into it.
We're set.
Oh, yeah.
I'll hop right in as always, then. I was watching something the other day, or an article. It was a pig chase in the UK. Okay. So what it pretty much was, a pig escaped from some farm and they chased it down and caught it, yada yada. That's not what I give a shit about, though. What matters is, why does all the crazy stuff happen in Europe? If you know what I mean, like Europe and Florida are the two places where things just go wild for no reason.
Well, if you take a prime example of just the language they use, shows you they're a very different culture.
Oh yeah, 100%. But all the crazy stuff you see normally happens in the UK, right? We're chasing pigs, we're doing stuff like that, right? Or Florida.
Ever been to Texas?
That's fair.
I bet they chase pigs pretty often down there.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
I feel like their culture is definitely a lot different over there compared to doing that kind of stuff. They do that stuff out of entertainment, like bull. Where's the place? It's Spain. They do the bull.
Yeah, the bull
whatever.
run.
Yeah.
That's just insane to do that kind of crap.
Okay.
I mean, get chased by bulls.
I mean, I guess that's
When
all
the-
they have to do for
The
fun.
death count for that's got to be pretty high. I mean,
It always seems like they're
because they're
all
going down
nut.
loosely cobbled city streets and
Just a fucking bull running full speed at them.
yeah, and that's just the most dangerous thing ever.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could find something a lot more on the safe side to do for entertainment.
I'm just curious what
But-
Spain's obsession with bulls is in the first place.
Yes.
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 You know, I figured that out. Common misconception: the whole bulls chase red thing. You know, it's not true at all.
I've always wondered that. I've heard so many misconceptions and everything about that, and never really looked
It's
into
just
it.
the guy waving the flag and going crazy. It has nothing to do with the color red.
It's the sudden movements.
Yeah. What's the point of the red then? Is it just a symbolic thing? Is
Well,
Or something got
It might
used,
be because, red and sunlight tends to maybe be a little bit more eye-catching.
I guess.
You know,
But I'm pretty sure bulls are colorblind.
Well,
Easier
that's
to-
true.
Easier
But,
to clean up the blood too. Not much. You can't even tell it's on there.
Speaking of bulls, well, at least female bulls, I was reading it was some news article in Arkansas, and it was headlined with "Cows are losing their jobs. What are they gonna do?"
Why?
So apparently milk prices are going down, and because of it, milk suppliers can't afford, and produce suppliers can't afford to produce milk at the same rate. So the whole article was a pity for cows about how can we help them? What are these cows doing without jobs now? And
Okay.
They're getting their
I feel
welfare checks.
as if people forgot what happens to cows when they're no longer useful.
I feel
South Park portrays that very well in the newest
They
season.
get cut up. They act like once a cow can't produce milk, it can't produce anything else. I mean, because milk cows still, you can get beef from and food from. I mean, it's not the primary thing they get used for.
Right.
But, I mean, it's not like they're not there.
But it's still a cow. And,
Yeah, it's still a cow.
I don't understand how people drink milk anyways. It's
Dude,
fucking disgusting.
I've gotten to the point now. It was after that freaking
Gallon
milk,
challenge?
yeah. I drank milk a little bit after that, but just now.
Oh, it was a whole year of I didn't touch any milk at all.
Yeah,
It
that's just
ruins your life.
It really does. You just drinking that much milk makes you realize how shitty milk actually tastes.
I
It's
think-
like your syrup challenge. Ugh.
That was worse.
Oh.
That was much worse.
I didn't even get
He
anywhere
got
close to that.
a couple gulps in. I got 3/4 of the bottle.
No,
down.
dude. Oh, I couldn't have.
It's so thick. You have this feeling like you have to throw up
It's
the
just
whole
so-
time.
it's so much-
But you feel like you're gonna throw up tar if you do. You're just gonna go.
And it's just gonna come out of
Like, it's gonna be
No, it's I just don't all the sugar and shit in that too is just
Oh yeah, I remember we did a
instant
lot of
onset
googling before on how dangerous it is, and people were like, "Don't do it."
instant onset diabetes.
They're you get if you do that challenge, you're getting 4,000 calories, which I did 3/4 of. So.
God.
So as long as you don't eat for that entire day, you're, still on the high
That's
side
2
of the
days.
calories.
The thing is, I would still do the milk challenge again. If someone challenged me to it.
I
Have
probably
fun.
would too.
We did it with skim milk. That's what
You
made it
have
so
to do
bad.
it with skim milk
Well, you
because
have
it's
to
so much
because of the
thinner and
yeah. But it's it just tastes so disgusting.
Yeah,
And
it's
skim
not
milk
good.
it's just cancer. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a
There's
whole
nothing-
milk gal. I just
A gal.
yeah. I mean, what Jordan? I feel like you're like a skim guy.
I feel like he's a 2%.
I don't drink milk.
When you do though,
I don't
Chocolate.
drink. I don't drink milk.
do you eat cereal?
Yeah.
Then you drink milk.
I
Shut
don't
up.
drink the milk out of the bowl.
Is you
Okay.
get milk with the cereal?
You do.
What kind
And
of
you
use?
taste
But like,
what
milk?
if
kind
you're
of milk
asking
do you
that,
use for it?
we have skim at our house.
Okay, so
Ew,
you
you're a
technically
skim milk person then.
My family is.
technically
Do you enjoy your cereal when you eat it?
Yes.
You're a skim milk person. The milk is half.
No,
it's a quarter of the flavor.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
unless you're
It just
picking
makes
up
my
every
cereal
last one,
moist,
pushing
that's
it to
it.
the
Yeah,
edge,
just
and
strain
dumping all
the
that
milk
milk
out.
off.
Good.
He's got like a strainer spoon, just
I eat
straining
the same
milk
cereal
out.
as him. Like he definitely knows.
How long do you wait before you eat your cereal? After putting the milk in?
Like I eat it right away.
Eat it right away? See,
Yeah.
I don't do that. I like to let it
Yeah,
sit
let it
for like
soak.
2 minutes. I want it to be like not where it's ruined and it's all floppy, but it's like the milk's it's in there. That's what I want. Like I mean, it's good to me. I mean,
Goes
What
down
Sounds like
smoother.
soggy bread.
ew.
certain cereals you can't do that with, but
You
think
you have to with Captain Crunch. That's like the only.
Yeah.
anything that's a flat surface like Frosted Flakes, that's when you gotta eat quick. Like that's like a 30-second
those
wait.
that,
And that's
Yeah.
that's
sorry.
Well, and that's
kind
it.
of cereal I
Frosted
eat
Flakes,
is-
Fruity Pebbles.
Captain Crunch, you can wait quite a while.
Yeah. You
I
have
mean-
you have to. Like, the roof of your mouth is gone.
Here's the problem with Captain Crunch though. There's like
Actually, it doesn't matter how long
It's
you
very
wait.
true. It's
You eat
gonna
more
hurt.
than one bowl, and the roof of your mouth is sandpaper.
Captain Crunch is one of those though where you have to wait like 5 minutes and then you have to eat it now because any longer and Captain Crunch
Yeah.
becomes the most disgusting cereal when it's like fully wet.
The peanut butter
Ugh.
one is the best one.
Peanut butter Captain Crunch, 100%.
Oh yeah.
I can't find
100%.
that anymore.
It's hard to find.
Yeah, it's the best
It's
one.
because it's not as popular. Most people just like regular Captain Mary Crunch, or
Goddamn Crunch Berries.
yes, Crunch
I hate
Berries.
Crunch Berries.
That's what I was getting to.
I
They've
don't
got-
care for them.
They've got a
Yeah.
blueberry pancake flavor out now.
Ugh.
that actually
It
sounds
sounds
alright.
so
That
good.
actually
No,
does sound
I
really
think
good.
after having the peanut butter, that's like the flavor I expect from Captain Crunch. And the berry mixed with the, I'll call it the blandness, because that's the flavor of Captain Crunch, bland. It just,
Yeah,
they
there's
offset
nothing
and it just doesn't taste right to me.
Bland sugar
Yeah, bland sugar.
Bland sugar and berries.
True.
What is the best
and
cereal?
apparently milk.
Like, if you had to narrow it down to one cereal, what is the best cereal? Like, to eat anytime, anywhere, this is what I'm eating.
Reese's Puffs.
Really?
Mm.
Fruity Pebbles.
I could eat that
Reese's Puffs
whenever.
Really?
I think.
It's too much peanut butter for me, I think.
I eat women's cereal. So
I eat way too many healthy
You
cereals
say
right now.
women's
God.
cereals?
Yeah.
What's a woman's cereal?
I eat Special K.
Special K. I love Special K.
It's so fucking good.
and it's
Oh.
like
And it's
I-
really good
Doesn't
for
it
you
have,
too.
like, raisins in it?
No,
it's
I
got, like,
I
You
have
got
like the
strawberries.
I've got
Well,
the
not raisin
yogurt.
brand, but it has something weird
those
in it.
yogurt.
I got the
yogurt
yogurt
ones are good too. No, they
It's
They have something
really
weird in
good.
them, don't they? Special K?
they have like
Some of them
they have
do.
all kinds.
Sometimes
of
they
different
got little fruits in them.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought.
Strawberries.
That's just weird to me in a
blueberries.
cereal.
ones. I can't eat like
Chex is
I can't
another
eat
one
cereals
eat.
like
I
Lucky
hate
Charms
Chex.
or
I
Really?
don't like. It's just
I
something
don't like
that needs to be
Lucky
dry
Charms.
to me. I think Fruity Pebbles just anything Pebble. Pebble
can't-
just is. It's enjoyable for my mouth to eat.
yeah.
I like Fruity
I've s-
Pebbles up until the point that they're left in the bowl for about 10 minutes and they literally become encrusted into the bowl.
Yeah,
And
they are the hardest thing to
yeah,
clean.
exactly. The
You
part
have
that they
to
go
clean.
from
Yeah.
milky cereal to like
A piece of glass
Oh, yeah.
literally made
fossil attached to the bowl.
Oh yeah, like I don't know how many times my mother has like eaten me out about that because I don't clean my bowl.
Not the word to
into
use.
the bowl. Yeah, I wouldn't use that term either. What?
She's eating me out bad, real bad, just about cereal. Because once you leave it there for 2 minutes after you finished it, that bowl's ruined. You might as well throw it out. And if it's a Corel, just drop it. And it's done.
Because they're chip resistant, not
The
shatter
chip
resistant.
Hey,
watch
Check
this.
this shit out. Close it down. I'm going to something else. Segue away from this. I saw an article about, well, and I guess I've seen it myself, about all these service stations for dogs and stuff in airports. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Jordan, you fly a little bit. When we last went to Philly, they had like a dog service station. I think it was in Minneapolis. Which, by the way, awesome airport.
Yeah.
I think you've been there.
Yeah, I've definitely
Yeah.
I've
How
been there
far is
several
that
times.
from the Mall of America? Because I've never been to the Mall of America.
10, 15 minutes.
Is it really
It's
that far?
right next door.
I like the tram that St. Paul has. That
Yeah,
airport has.
they've got a nice tram.
because it gets you around really quick.
You want to talk about a nightmare airport? Chicago
Mm-mm.
or Los Angeles?
LA
Chicago's
was it
terrible.
LAX?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. It's like the busiest
Nightmare.
airport in the world. I
Yeah.
mean,
In
LAX
Chicago,
gets so much.
I
traffic.
never want to go through again after the summer. Ever.
Dude, Chicago's just like
Ever.
Chicago's
Any-
O'Hare, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Actually, I guarantee it's probably either Chicago or whatever New York's is probably the
There's
busiest in
been
the world.
something about
No, it's
Atlanta's.
Atlanta's.
I remember seeing something about Atlanta's
It's
that was like.
So I'm gonna be in Orlando's coming up here.
That one can't be too bad.
I don't remember.
Because Florida will take you to the
It's
South
been a long
American
time.
states, but I don't think. I guess it could take
I mean,
you
that's
to the
lower.
European states, but
I mean, that's a lot lower.
yeah.
And most flights, if you're going to like the Caribbean or something, will go to Miami.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's still Florida.
Yeah.
But not Orlando. Are you
Yeah.
landing in Orlando?
We'll be in. Yeah.
Okay, well that's nice at least.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about places like Florida where all the amusement, like, you take a state like Florida, all of its amenities are in like 2 places.
Yeah.
So all the airports are there, so it's like you land in Orlando, everything you're
You're
doing
there.
is in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you fly to Miami,
Unless you're going to
everything's
the
in
beach.
Miami.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
yeah.
a. long
Orlando's
way down there.
landlocked, which
Where'd
is
we-
really weird. It's like an hour.
Wait, is it not on the coast at all?
No, it's like square in the middle
Yeah.
of land.
Is it really?
Yeah.
See,
What was I?
the only time I went to Florida, I only brushed the top of it through Georgia.
Yeah.
So I never actually got to go on the peninsula and things like that.
Yeah, Orlando's in a weird spot.
It's,
For
a
being-
place-
it's
there's-
kind of offset a little bit. It's not in the middle, but it's not on the coast.
Yeah.
It takes like 8 hours to get to Orlando from the top of Florida.
Yeah.
It's a big
There's,
state.
Oh,
where
wow.
we went to like Cape Canaveral or somewhere, and that was like we went there from Orlando, and it was a drive. like,
Yeah.
Down there, but if
Yeah.
you like stay in Orlando, there's tons of stuff to do in Orlando.
So I don't know
Yeah.
I
what we'll
wouldn't
do.
doubt
Yeah.
Say when we go, we're leaving at like 11:40. Our flight departs, and then we'll probably won't do much. I want to go to the beach again,
Yeah.
but it's like an hour, 15-minute drive from Orlando, so it's
Yeah. Back to what I was saying though. So these new like airport things I'm saying about they're like service dog stuff. Is that just like a useless kind of thing? I mean, because I'm starting to see them at a lot of airports. I see pictures of and stuff, and they were in. There was one in St. Paul, and I believe there was one in Philly, in their airport.
Is it where they have like support dogs just out in the open?
No,
where people-
they'll have like places for your dog to go to the bathroom and have
Oh.
lounging areas and like special enclosures and stuff for your
I haven't
dog.
seen
and
I
things
feel like
that.
a lot of places like that are getting more like pet acclimated. and
How often do
everything.
people
There's
really bring their pets?
I don't think airports.
Well,
I-
and I don't think it's more on the fact of how often it is, but you know how nowadays most places have to have some way for handicap accessibility.
It's
Yeah.
probably
It's just kind of to save them where, you know, they could actually get in trouble if, say, somebody does come there with their service animal and, God forbid, something happens, they don't have a place to go, or, you know, they try and say otherwise, and it could cause one heck of a problem for them.
I mean, it's a nice amenity to have.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's normally like they're few and far between. You don't need a lot of them. They'll just put them in the middle of like all the terminals, so some place where most people travel by,
Yeah.
and then they'll throw a map or some garbage like that so you can find it. But you can still hear that. When does that? How much you want to bet that gets pushed too far? Like when I'm bringing my support parrot with me. Now I'm wanting a parrot support station so that he can go to the
there's-
beach. Or he can go to the bathroom.
just set it
and pee.
loose.
there's always,
Set him loose.
Just
Let 'em go.
There's always gonna be
Just flying overhead.
There's always gonna be something like that somebody's gonna have a problem with.
Well,
There
and
was
that's
something
why
not
they
too
get to
long
the
ago.
point where they try and restrict service animals to strictly dogs, because of the whole part of that. Because then
Yeah.
if you start going too bad, you'll get somebody out there who's like, "Yeah, this is my support otter,"
Or
How-
alligator,
yeah.
Well,
something extreme.
and that's it. It's to stop people from doing those extremes. Plus, there's an actual role for the support animal as someone who has actually looked into them for something completely different. There are things that the dogs can do that all these other animals just can't when it comes to that
Oh yeah.
being that supportive clause. So the fact that, you know, it's strictly like dog related is just for the fact of that, is that, you know,
Yeah.
they know
Yeah.
they're not going to make an area for your support alligator or alpaca.
I'm getting really tired of the support animal thing though.
I'm too.
With college students, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm depressed. I need a
You're
support
gonna be
dog.
stressed,
It's-
right? It's
they'll
Get
pull
outta
it.
here.
They'll pull it just to have an animal at college.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's garbage.
yeah.
I mean,
Like when I was at UNI,
I feel
everybody
like
did
that's
that.
Yeah.
I feel that's definitely the thing that people use it for the most, is just so they can have like a pet around. I don't think I see a point behind it for like some people with like some conditions and everything, but like college, there might be one or two every
Yeah,
year,
if you're
but-
going to college with some sort of actual diagnosed medical disease, other than depression, sorry, it sucks, but get over it.
Well, and
Yeah,
support animals are meant for specific reasons. It's not just because you know, hey, I, just don't feel good on Tuesday, so this is my support Tuesday dog. It's supposed to only be for those specific purposes. That's why they cost a lot of money to get
Oh yeah.
to go through the actual support process. Is because they're meant for things PTSD, anxiety, stress.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be just for
I think
that.
like anxiety disease is like the farthest I'll go for quote unquote bullshit reasons to have it, because I actually kind of believe the anxiety one.
Yeah.
But like depression, no, sorry, go to Pancheros, get a burrito, you're fine. You don't need a dog there.
Or get some
But-
fucking friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Jeez.
I understand the strictness behind having these laws, or not these laws, but these like regulations against them, because it's like how apartment complexes, like 90% of them are against having animals, because I don't care how good of a trainer you are, it's gonna shit on the floor.
Yeah.
It's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like at some point, it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Actually, behind the camera, sent me this. The bull run, 480 have been killed totally in the bull run.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You think they fucking
quite a
knock it
bit.
off?
1,000 wounded, and here's the funny one: 1,200 missing.
Missing.
Did the bull eat him or something? You just want to
It's
snack out
running
of
through the
it?
city streets of Paris, surrounded by spectators. How do you go missing?
There's a lot of people waiting in the crowd
Some
for
random
you.
person
Like,
right there by
right.
that shady corner. Yoink.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like
Unbelievable.
that is a
Organs
really
sell
weird-
for a lot of money
Yeah.
in the black market, so
Well, the fact that the missing is the high number.
that's very
Yeah.
strange.
I
I
don't-
figured if anything, the death would be because
You know, honestly, it's probably stupid. The missing, more than likely, is like in the middle of the bull run, the guy just got off track and just never came back.
It could be.
Yeah. He was like, fuck this, I'm out. And he just never decided to return back to like check in or whatever.
yeah, I don't want to be trampled to death. I'm out, guys.
Yeah, he
Why
just
did I
kind
sign up for this?
of. Okay, so I'll bring us into this. Before the podcast, I gave all of them a challenge, so you could say. A broad statement, something bold, that's different, that you don't think no one agrees with you. Earl, lead us in. What is your bold statement of the week?
Oh, I have a little bit of some facts to kind of go behind my statement, and I know people aren't going to agree with it too much.
Probably not.
I believe that anyone that is in the prison system, that say for example, you got a 50-year-old guy with an 80-year sentence, you know that there's no way that person's going to make it through. If he's got no parole or he's getting these draconic sentences, 80, 90, 100, life, double life sentence, at this point, I'm sorry, but I think they should just be fucking taken out right away. And I'm not saying inhumanely, just like taken out behind the shed,
Do you think
put
the
down
death
like
penalty
old
should
yellow.
be
Oh, God.
impeded
Yeah.
if you have
I
a
thought
life
you meant
sentence?
Bring it back to
No,
fire
no,
squad.
No. I mean,
I know.
like, actually, how you would when it comes to death penalty, lethal injection.
Yeah.
It would cost a lot less
save
to
a
do
lot
a
of
lethal
money,
injection.
yeah.
Well, and I was actually looking it up. This is why I said I put a little research into this. Just to house an inmate for a year. Now, one inmate could cost as low as 40 grand a year in some states, or just, I believe I saw in California last year, it cost about $80,000 a year for one inmate.
You know,
That's just one.
I've always felt like those numbers they get are kind of bullshit.
Well, you gotta understand.
I mean,
They're-
there just seems a little exaggerated. Like, you got to think a prisoner, he eats 3 meals a day
At least.
for 365 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that 40 grand worth of food? No, not even close. I'm gonna say for a shitty meal that comes in bulk sizes that they get for everyone, I'm calling like 8 grand, maybe
Yeah.
5, for like his whole food cost.
Oh, yeah.
Then the rest is like he goes to the bathroom and they house him and everything.
Yeah.
So he
Well,
pays
and-
for a bed.
And the other things I could think of that factor into it is, aside from, them using, on average, water, they're going to charge that. They're going to hold that against them because the penitentiary or prison's got to pay for that themselves. So they're paying for the water per inmate, the electricity for every inmate. You also got to pay the salaries for every guard that's there.
Yeah.
So I believe that the numbers, if you didn't go off of all the extra stuff, would be lower. But the
Yeah.
fact of the matter is that these people who sit in a cell, if they get in, do something really terrible in their 20s,
Yeah.
and they get a double life sentence, no parole, that guy could be sitting in a cell
Yeah.
for like 60 years. And, 60 years times, if we even went at the low side of, say, $15,000 a year, that's money out of taxpayer.
Yeah.
That's your taxpayers' money paying for that guy to get 3 meals a day and sit in a thing.
See, I'm guessing where they're getting those figures from. The main one is like guard salary.
Yeah.
Problem is though, if all of the people who like they're acting like we're not gonna have prisoners, like you can't count that shit in. I
Well,
think all
that's
you
it.
need to count is what does his food cost, what does the bed cost, and like then you fit in average human consumption of water and power. That's it. I'm sorry, that's like $8,000 a year, if that, less. I mean,
One of the things I saw for it said, I can't remember which state, the salary for some of the guards is like 60 grand a year.
that's insane.
Yeah. Well, and
It
to a
should be.
point, I could understand it, but then to a point, it's like, because they got to have special training to know how to deal with these inmates. They got the ratio of guards to inmates is clearly not in their favor. So some stuff I understand, but like I said, it's my opinion is that if you're going to be sitting in this cell for the rest of your life, there's no way you're getting out, and you're going to be there for this long period of time. Instead of sitting on our taxpayer money, knowing that it's not going to do a damn thing, send them to the chair, and not the electric chair, unless that's the way they choose.
Yeah.
But lethal injection, it's
Well, I know
supposed
you
to be
can
quick,
do
simple, and easy.
self-suicide if you're in
Yeah.
prison. Like, if you have the licenses, I believe you can do self-suicide. You just got to sign a bunch of
I'm
crap.
pretty sure. I don't know how. I know there's so many states that have different laws against all that, and I just wish federal. I don't know whether federal law lets you do like assisted suicide. I guess. But
I don't know. Before I go to you, Jordan, have you guys heard about that stuff in the prison in Mississippi that like a lot of the rappers and that community's been getting about like the atrocious like
Yeah.
living situations?
Mm-mm.
It was I believe it's Mississippi. I can't remember exactly. It was a while
It's somewhere
ago
down
this came out.
south.
But the prison is like absolutely like atrocious. Like it's flooding. There's mold everywhere. Half the
Jesus.
lights don't even work in the
Wow.
place.
Any water
See-
that comes out of anything is pure rust.
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
literally like
orange,
Flint,
like-
Michigan water is
Like
their whole
dark
water.
orange.
I don't feel
It's-
like prisoners should be
boy.
living in that bad of conditions, but there's so many prisons where
Yeah.
prisoners actually live in
Oh yeah, 100%.
halfway decent.
I mean, when you're living like Pripyat, Russia or something, it's like
Yeah.
that's just everyday life. But that ain't even prison. I mean, because originally the idea of prison was supposed to be like the rehab part of it. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
like get better because something's
Right.
wrong with you. It's
Yeah.
like you think wrong,
Yeah.
or not. That sounds horrible. But like you made bad decisions because
Yeah.
of the way you grew up, or yada
Yeah.
yada yada.
And you need to
And
reflect
now
on
it's
it.
more of a punishment, which it's supposed to be, but it's like it's
It's more
more
of a-
about the punishment and less about the like
It's more of
Helping
a
them
you
get
fucked
back
up.
out.
Now you live here.
instead of the getting
Yeah.
out and
Yeah.
being better thing. Which I mean, what are you gonna
Well,
do?
it should be more of a rehabilitation, and that's the biggest problem. Why they don't use that is because when you think of rehab, you could check yourself in and out as you
Yeah.
please. Prison is different. You can't just check yourself out when you get a
Just be
20-year
like, I'm
sentence.
going home.
Well, that's why I like that.
But that should be the focus, though, is rehabilitating those who've been in there. If they committed something and did something wrong, it should be about rehabilitation, about getting them better to a state where hey, they're not going to do this again.
Well, yeah, that's like that one Switzerland prison where it's. I think we were talking about it in the last podcast or
Yeah.
at some point that they're the ones who have like the highest rated prison where they've got like TVs and like
Yeah.
comfy beds and shit, and they get like good food and workout stations and all that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the dream. That's like if you get poor, just kill someone, go to prison.
God.
You're tired of paying taxes. Let's do this.
Yeah, just tax evade for a couple years, and then go to prison and chill out for a year, and then you're out. Works for me.
Yeah, let's all do it.
What could go wrong?
Let's do it. Let's go do something.
Let's do it. Let's go to Switzerland and start committing crimes. Go to I just imagine 4 guys showing up to the Switzerland prison with a beach towel and stuff like.
We're ready.
Just
Sun
show up.
comes out.
You show up just to see it was a
Shotguns.
lie the whole time, and it's just like, uh-oh. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a real prison.
Shipping you off to the
that's actually like a
gulag.
high-
Like a
Yeah.
high
Well,
security.
Do you agree with that, Josh? What he said?
I
That they should just.
don't.
And I'm
50 seems kind of young still, but like.
but like,
I
I'm-
know where you're coming from, where like they're gonna be in there their whole life anyways, but
instead of paying for 40 years worth
Yeah.
of some guy to just
But it's-
sit and doing nothing.
I don't
I
think
agree-
that's the way any of like our prison system
Yeah.
thinks so.
I agree with it to an extent. I think if it's like murder or like a homicide,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
redundant. Something like severe that guarantees the life sentence, then it should, or then it. How do I say this? If it's like murder or something like that, it shouldn't happen. Here's the reason I say it: is they should like sit there and suffer knowing what they did.
Yeah.
Because that should be part of it.
Yeah,
Is like you ended your life. Sorry. Like.
Now, would you still agree with that? Say if it was somebody who enjoyed the fact that they did that they murdered someone and
like
doesn't care that
See, it's tough
they
because
have to
that's the
live with
double
that.
standard behind it.
Exactly.
It's like you have to make the judgment almost based on the psychology of the victim
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the criminal.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, it would never happen like that where
Yeah.
you could force that upon because we're not as draconic as we used to be, where we can just. I mean, we're not all
Pull the plug on
Texas,
somebody. Yeah.
so because they're the only ones who do the death penalty anymore. I
I'm
think
pretty sure they are. Yeah.
Everything's bigger in
Yeah.
Texas.
Go big or go home.
Jordan, bold statement of the week. Hit us with it.
Fat people on airplanes, I'm talking like 300 plus, ones that take up more than one seat should have to pay for 2 seats.
Usually do.
Oh my god.
That's fair.
Like they
That actually
100% should.
That actually is a very.
You're talking about like those ones that look like a blimp walking down the
Like
hallway.
my
They got that
600-pound
sway.
life, like yeah, if they can't walk correctly, and like they definitely take up more than one space, they need to buy it out
Yeah.
because
I can
then it
agree with
offsets. Like it's like 2 people in one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes 2 of me to make one of them. Weight
Like
wise.
you always see in
I-
the movies where you
Because
got two people,
they
one
charge
guy's
you
like,
for weight on your like your craft or your luggage,
Luggage,
and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
So why not charge them weight on the actual person?
Right.
Yeah.
because that's where lawsuits come in.
Yeah.
I mean, I get where that
Somebody's
doesn't.
gonna be hurt, right?
I mean, I get where they can't get like the
Yeah.
exact weight and stuff, but
The problem with like
if it's
2020,
very clear that that's the case,
the problem with 2020 is they'll just call you like a fat shamer. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you shaming them? Like,
okay.
sorry,
Call me
like,
a fat shamer. I want to be comfortable on my goddamn
Yeah.
flight.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you
I
see
could-
that thing about?
Because I've been in that situation before.
There's something that
It's horrible.
somebody
It's
bitched
awful.
about. It was just this last week or so where somebody like reclined their seat back, and there was a video of the guy just constantly punching the back of her seat because
Yeah.
like his seat wouldn't recline, so he didn't have like anywhere to go, and she was laying like all the way back on his legs, and like she recorded it and had a big old fit about it, and then there was something all over the internet about it, and it's just like
well, they make plane seats so thin already.
Yeah.
They do.
I mean, when we flew with Delta on Philly, don't get me wrong, like, it was a fine flight. The seats are okay. Movies do not give you a very accurate representation of
No.
what plane flights are really like.
yeah.
Honestly, the joke movie Soul Plane, if you've ever seen it, have you ever? I know Earl's seen Soul Plane.
Oh man, I don't know where they're
It's
at.
been a
It's-
while.
It's like a joke where it's this rich guy from the hood buys a plane company. So the plane has like hydraulics and spinners on it. And like first class is like fantastic. It's got champagne and stairs and
I
everything.
can guess where this is going.
And coach is like the ghetto. Like the
Yep.
seats are metal and bolted to the ground and everything
like
in there
Nicole
looks
Clark.
yellow and rusty. Like it's just garbage. But yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like, yeah, I know you're fat. Sorry. Like,
That's how it is.
it's just how it is. You can lose weight. You chose to fly, and you're impeding on someone else.
You
Like,
chose to fly just like you're choosing not to lose weight.
the weight part gets a little.
That's really dark.
Yeah.
The
It's
weight
kinda
part
harsh, but
it's hard
It's a
to-
little difficult because, like, you couldn't impose like 300 pounds Because there's like
Yeah, I know.
there's like
I know.
6'8" people who are 300 pounds and
Yeah,
like
they
look
are.
as skinny as
And
me.
I'm saying that as in like if you're very
You're wide.
visibly wide.
I think they need to walk you through one of those
It's like
cutting the whole walls.
They've got,
Where
like-
if you fit through this just
Yeah,
fine,
you
you're
get
good.
one.
they've
You
got
just buy
they've got the
ones.
things for like your carry-on bags that do
Yeah.
that. They just need to make them for people next.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I've seen that like some hospitals and clinics and stuff. They got like actual the wide chairs and stuff. I think at some point that's what like the airlines and even
Well, they won't
buses.
do it to the profit margins.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
I
it.
mean,
That's
more
what they
people you
need
can
to.
fit on the plane, more
yeah.
money you make.
And that's it. And that's the problem is if they could go to doing that where like, hey, this section of seating is for those who are a little bit wider. We're not calling anyone fat, but saying, hey, we understand that some people, they could have a glandular problem or something of that nature. Those who can't necessarily fit comfortably in those seats
Yeah.
has a better option.
You also know that other people who just want more room would take those seats too.
Well,
though.
but then
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when they could, kind of impose to a point of being like, hey, you're a twig. There's no reason why you need
Yeah.
that. Where this guy over here, he just
he just needs a little bit.
you
extra
try and
room.
fit him in that, and you're gonna have to get grease and a crowbar to get him out.
You're awful.
So
I'm a fat guy.
I've only been on one
Yeah.
flight technically in my life. Well, I've been on 4 flights, but one here, one one to here, one to here, one to here, or one back again.
Yeah.
It was great. It was fine. I mean,
It's just a faster way to travel.
100%.
It's nothing.
Like,
Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah.
in your mind,
Fantastic.
like when we drove to Delaware and it took us like 18 hours,
Oh,
and then going from Des Moines to St. Paul and then St. Paul to Philly, and it takes like 4 hours of flight time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh,
Like,
It's definitely a lot quicker, but you look at like how much it actually costs you, and there's
oh yeah, you always save more driving.
yeah.
it just
But
I look at
you
it
gotta
too.
take in the wear and tear costs on your car too, like the miles
Yeah.
you're putting on.
When
there.
if you get flight tickets in good timing, you can save money flying.
Oh,
100%.
100%.
Because a lot of times that drive time, you take a trip like we did to Delaware.
You have to make stops. You buy food.
Yeah, you gotta make
If it's
stops.
far enough, you have to stay the night somewhere.
Exactly, which we had to for one of the times.
Exactly.
Because we didn't the first time, and it almost cost a parent divorce between my mom and dad. Because West
Oh,
Virginia, nuh-uh. I don't know if I've ever told you about this. We're in Virginia on our way to Delaware. Sorry to cut your topic off, but we all agreed on it. So,
But I have one more thing.
go ahead before I continue then.
Half the fun in traveling, like if I'm gonna be traveling and there's gonna be a big group of friends and it's within 20 hours, I'd prefer to drive just because you'll have so much fun with your
Oh, yeah.
friends.
there'd be a lot
Within
more
the-
to-
Depending on the time or the people you're with,
'Cause
depends on the way I want to
You
travel.
can't be loud and rowdy and shit on a plane and stuff.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
gonna get yelled
You just
at.
gotta
Yeah.
kind of sit there and play headphones and stuff. Like if I'm with my family,
Bump music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you're in the car, you can do whatever you want.
I was gonna say if I'm with my family, but I get along fine with my family and we laugh, and they're just as horrible people as I am. But if I'm with a douchebag family or something, I just fly me there as quick as possible. Take the jet. Let's go. But like, I have no problem being in a car.
Yeah.
My only problem with cars, I can't sleep in them. A 20-hour drive, I ain't sleeping. It just ain't happening.
Yeah.
I just can't. I mean,
It's tough.
yeah, it's something that's sitting upright and trying to sleep, and it's something with me. I can't do that.
For sure.
Back to what I was saying though. West Virginia, fuck you. Okay, we're in West Virginia. It's either West Virginia or regular Virginia. It's about midnight / 2 in the morning. We're going down these 9% grades, completely lost, no clue where we're at, doing about 90 miles an hour in a 50, I think. My dad's driving.
Jesus.
I've never been so terrified in my life. I actually was crying pretty much. So,
and
mind you, it was about 4 in the morning because the trash trucks were out and they were chasing us. Also doing 90.
What?
Seriously, it's just, and it's curvy roads, it's Virginia, it's hills and stuff, and we're just trying to get on back to a main road because
Garbage trucks.
no,
I can just
No.
imagine that. Like,
what you imagine is how it happened.
yeah,
You're
We're
trying
sitting-
not to get crushed by a
My
fucking
dad's
garbage
driving,
truck.
rolls in the passenger, me and Ashley are in the back seat. We're holding each other's hand because I'm just as terrified as she is. I'm like, this is how I'm going to die in Virginia. Never thought. Like,
and also mind you, this is about 16 hours into our driving.
Yeah, so he's tired and restless and pissed off, and we've been lost for like 2 hours in Virginia.
Yeah.
We would have cut so much time. The whole problem with it was Google Maps, when you're going somewhere, has 2 options. Use toll roads, don't use toll roads.
Oh, God,
we
you
were
did use
using
those.
the use toll roads. So it was directing us to where a toll road would begin instead of just a normal route. So, but the route it took us was through fucking Floopy Doop Town, and I'm so surprised this like garbage truck didn't roll over. And this guy he was zooming.
He passed us. We were going through all these grades, and
we're doing like
the
70,
road is literally
80
doing
miles,
this.
yeah.
It's winding back and forth while going up and down, so it's like a roller coaster. And at some point, he just goes right past
Yeah,
us.
doing like 90.
Yeah.
A 2 or at
Imagine
10
that was
ton
some guy
trash
like
truck.
Yeah.
some guy on the trash truck, like they have the people that stand on the back sometimes. Imagine a guy holding on back there going fucking.
Oh man.
Yeah, like when they're going around town here, they're just hanging off the side of it, like just swooping.
They're rear loaded.
garbage
Going
cans.
90, just-
Like they're not even throwing the trash can back at your house. They're just like putting it in and tossing it. Don't need it.
Yes, you get super fast garbage service. The con is you have to buy a new garbage can every single week.
Every week. It's done like.
Or
the
you just
trash is
stop
done
using
for your
cans.
town in like
It's
10
just-
minutes flat. They're setting records out there. Before we get too far away, yes, I agree with your weight limit.
I do
Yeah.
too. That's
I-
a very good point.
I don't know.
Josh, what do you got for me?
Mine. So, I can't remember what countries. I feel like there's a couple countries in Europe that have legalized up to like. It might be Schedule 1 drugs as legal, but I'm thinking it might only be Schedule 2. And I
Now tell us the difference between those two.
Schedule okay, so Schedule 1 is like I don't know how they describe it, but that's the category of like heroin and
the
So
worst
the-
is lower.
yeah,
It's like
the worst.
DEFCON.
Yeah,
So
the
the
worst.
fun
The
drugs.
worst is like Schedule 1. Schedule 2 is going to be like cocaine, and I think meth is actually in that category, but I don't.
It's
I don't
Take it
know
back.
whether
Category 2
yeah.
is the fun drugs.
Category two.
Category
Here's what
one's
I
the
wonder,
don't-
like, does
don't touch.
acid fit in category
I
one?
think
I don't think it should.
I think they're based on schedule off of like their psychiatric like effects. So I don't know whether acid is up that high, but like you see what it's done in like countries like that.
Because I know
And-
Ireland, I think.
I think it's like, I
Allows,
was
like,
thinking
a
like
lot of
Finland.
shit.
I was thinking like Finland or somewhere, but I can't remember
Europe's
off the
still
top of my
wild,
head
man.
right now.
Yeah, they're crazy out there.
I feel like countries
This
like
is where the crazy stories come
countries
from.
like that you don't hear much about it being bad, but then like you take a look at like Mexico and like the drug crisis they have, but it's still like illegal down there. But I feel like up to Schedule 2 drugs in our country should be legalized to some limit.
Yeah.
Not like sold at like every corner store, like them throwing out cocaine.
It'll still just be the
But-
smugglers. And
Well,
Yeah.
like, if you're gonna legalize those Schedule 2s, which I think like half agree with you, half don't, and the half that do agree with you are like under 30,
Yeah.
because that's just part of our generation nowadays. Our generation nowadays is okay with the mind expansion idea
Yeah.
of
What?
recreational drug usage.
Right. I feel like there was like a gap somewhere too, because like you go back to like the 70s, 80s, where they were like everybody
Oh, yeah,
was
everyone was
snorting
doing
cocaine and like
Yeah.
smoking weed, and
There was a weird generation that it's probably Gen X,
Yeah.
which it's like, that born in the late 60s, early 70s, I
Yeah.
think, where something happened.
yeah.
Where it wouldn't even be Gen X, it'd be Gen Y. I can't remember. It's like born in the 70s
Right.
and 80s. Our dads, most of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that's what I'm.
Where they're just, that generation it's the Karens of America. They hate it.
That is.
Karens of
I-
America.
I agree with that.
I mean, I could totally say that, yeah, they probably should be legalized. I mean, ignoring the economy benefits of it, I mean, it brings
Yeah.
in so much business.
Yeah, and that's what I'm like. Like I said, I don't believe it should be sold like everywhere.
I mean, if it's legal,
But
it's gonna. Though.
yeah,
Mm.
at some point it would be, but yeah, I
But
don't
I mean,
feel.
Colorado, Washington, they seem to be doing it right.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna cut out
like I say-
California because they don't do much right, but the
Yeah.
other ones do.
Like I say about like everything, like it's a person's personal choice. Like you
Well,
aren't gonna stop somebody doing it when it's illegal.
Well, it's
anyway,
like the
so
buying
why-
guns thing. It's like if they're gonna buy it, they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
If they want it, they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Just let it.
well,
happen.
and I can agree
I'm
with
not comparing
to
the
a
two.
certain extent.
Yeah.
So let everyone get a gun. I'm saying.
I could agree to a certain extent. There's some drugs out there, I think that, can't really be that harmful. Whereas in, like, you take the series Breaking Bad, a lot of people do some stupid shit for meth and coke and stuff like that. So there's some stuff where you're kind of like, yeah, if it's their personal choice and they could do whatever they want to if they want to mess up their life. But you also got to understand that sometimes that also involves them breaking into homes and killing people to get money for their next fix.
Yeah.
So to an extent, like, a guy who's hooked on crank is more dangerous than a guy who just enjoys the occasional mushroom.
And see, that's what I'm saying too. Like I was saying, how you look at like those European countries, and they might not be, they don't look like they're doing that bad. But then you look at countries like Mexico that are having like a drug crisis, and I don't know. It's just like you just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
There's
how
no
do I
idea.
say this? It's okay. Don't worry too much about it. I guess, like, when you take the Schedule 2 ones, the big positive that doesn't get talked about when you legalize, like, medical marijuana and things like that is it pulls the people who are into the hardcore shit kind of away.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I can get something that's very similar,
Yeah.
and it's legal, I don't get in trouble for it,
Right.
it's a lot cheaper, and there's no risk.
Yeah,
I mean,
and see, that's the way, when stuff like that becomes legalized too, I feel like it'll be, like, more cheap for those people who are, like, fixed on it and everything, but then again, that could cause, like, downhill spirals and all that. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't...
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like it's a good idea to do to some extent, like you said, but there's examples that kind of show good for it, and examples that
And that's
kind of
it.
go against it.
With
Yeah.
anything nowadays, you have some, you can't take one thing and put it as a total bad
Right.
thing or a total good thing.
Yeah, it's
You have your
just
good
depends
with your bad, it's just dependent on how you want to
how you
weigh
use
it.
it. Yep.
And that's it. Like, I know I've heard stories of people who said that, that some of the stuff they did, it felt good. And of course, they're not dead.
Yeah.
And, they're still alive, but, in some ways it's good. However, as we've established, other ways, not so much.
Okay. I got the last one here. I think video games nowadays are a bigger pastime than baseball.
100%.
Yeah?
Yep.
Now,
Right.
I'm a little biased because fuck baseball. I'm sorry. I don't want to sit. Get ready, MLB. I'm coming for you. I don't want to watch 9+ goddamn innings of a bunch of people throwing back and forth so I can see a score that was boring as shit and nothing happening. The most celebrated thing in in MLB is a perfect game. You know how goddamn boring that is? No one hits on that team.
Yeah.
It's shit.
You want to make it a little more interesting? Do what the movie Basketball did. Add some
Yeah, dude.
contact.
Yeah.
Add some contact. Have some fun with
Yeah,
it. I want
get-
to see some people get clocked.
Give the batter a pair of pads, and if he has a right to challenge the
Okay,
the
I'm
guy.
gonna attack baseball first. Okay,
Oh, great.
80 years ago, they call it baseball America's pastime. It's its first sport and all that crap.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, it was, but whatever. I think the whole reason for it was because nothing else was going on.
Yeah.
Football hadn't been established. I can't say soccer's still established really here, kind of. Basketball wasn't really there yet. I mean, it was just baseball. Of course it's going to be America's pastime. It's the only game anyone knows how to play. But nowadays, how often do you hear about baseball and anyone cares? You hear about the World Series, and that's
And
it.
even
I don't-
then, the only time the World Series really ever is big anymore is like, what was it, just this other year when the Cubs won finally?
Yeah.
It was one of those, hey.
Because it's like 100 years.
Yeah,
of
it's like it
fighting
was
happened
so
thing.
long for someone to finally hit that, that it was a big deal. But like, it's like, oh, the Yankees won again. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
And that's
It's-
it. And when it's not those teams that are there or always have a easy chance to do it every single year, then yeah, it's okay. But other than that, I don't
Yeah, who
ever hear.
cares? I mean,
I
it's
hear
just
about
like-
football. Actually, I hear about
I mean, for main
soccer more than
sports-
baseball.
For main sports in America, football's got the title, I think.
Oh,
Yep.
100%. basketball's
Pretty
close, but it's not there, and I don't think it'll overtake it.
Yeah, I never think it will.
Just because football, it's always in the public eye, because football games are televised a lot better because there's not 82 damn games a year.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl, infinitely bigger than the finals, I think. The finals are big.
Right.
The Super Bowl.
Well,
has
isn't
to
the
go.
finals like 9 games long at the very most?
7
Or 7? Okay.
at the most.
Well,
yeah.
but you look at it this way: you have possible 7 games long versus 1 game.
Yeah.
So it's a put up or shut up type moment versus,
Yeah.
we still might have a chance.
Well, and the NBA was starting to go through the football drought, or not the football like supremacy thing, where the Warriors win, then the Warriors win, then the Warriors win, and like football, Patriots win, Patriots win, Patriots win.
Yeah.
So they're getting back. They were on that trend. It's over
Yeah,
now,
it
at
is.
least for this year, but I mean, next year is probably going to be just back to it, in my opinion.
No.
I don't think
You don't think
so.
so?
I
No.
think there's
Once
so
they're
many
healthy and
there's
back?
so many
No.
super teams now that I feel like they're overtaken.
I think there's gonna be a lot of teams that surprise you next year.
I don't know. I like I'm a Lakers fan and everything, but I just like watching like the Nuggets and all. Like they've been playing.
Really?
They've been playing really good
Because they're
this year.
young.
Yeah,
They're really
they're
young.
really
and
young
that's
team.
fun to
They're
watch.
playing good.
Back to what I was saying, though. Back to the topic on hand. So, video games been around, what? About 40 years now. You know what? I'll say 20.
Yeah,
Because I don't count... I'm not counting the N64s and the old
Atari.
generations and all that crap.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that it wasn't... It was
Accepted by that
there,
generation.
but it wasn't like...
it was more just a leisure
It
fun
wasn't in the
instead of an
limelight.
actually established
Yeah.
gaming community.
Now it's like everyone owns an Xbox. Everyone owns a PlayStation. It's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone does it, and there's such a rich history behind it, and there's so much fun behind it, and it's like, you come home, you play a game. It sounds so much better nowadays than come home, watch 9 innings.
Watch a 3-hour baseball game.
Yeah, where I sit there and drink. That's the interesting part of the game, is
Ooh,
my
they scored.
alcoholism.
How drunk am I gonna be by the second inning?
And I wouldn't say,
Yeah.
ooh, they scored and I drink, because you're not going to be drinking very fast. Like, it's like soccer. If you drink for every goal,
You're not,
Well,
you're not going to finish your
You're
beer.
gonna chug.
You're
You're
gonna
gonna
do
chug
like-
a beer every time they score.
Well, and that's it. It's back in the day when, the sports weren't as established as they were. Yeah, baseball was interesting
Yeah, it
because you
was
had, people like Barry Bonds,
Well,
Sammy
you
Sosa.
had the
You
bigger
had the
names.
greatest.
then they
Yeah,
took
like
the
the Babe
steroids
Ruths
out.
and-
Yeah, the baby,
Jackies
and,
and,
that's
like,
it, and that's it. But nowadays you don't. You don't have those big names. Like
Yeah, we got Mike Trout.
I don't even know
Yeah,
who the
there
hell
really
that
aren't-
is.
there really aren't
See, and
that.
that's it. You grow up hearing about those. If you get into baseball, they talk about those greats back in the day.
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa, Jackie Robinson, all those people, the greats in the day. Nowadays, you don't hear about those. You hear about the football's greatest of all time people. And
Well, it also
or stuff
helps
like
we're
that.
in an era where we're having a lot of greats in football.
Yeah.
We're seeing the possible greatest QB of all time. We're seeing a lot of fantastic running backs. We're seeing the end of Adrian Peterson, and we're seeing so many good, amazing players who are like kind of not rewriting history, but they're there.
Yeah, they're
And
making their
it's-
mark.
Yeah. I mean, viewership I think will go down after like 2 years because we're going to lose Tom Brady. We're going to lose Larry
Thank God.
Fitzgerald, someone who's not talked about enough.
We don't watch him anyways.
What?
We don't watch him anyways.
With Tom Brady?
No.
Larry
Larry
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald. When do we ever watch Cardinals game?
We don't, but he should be acknowledged.
He absolutely
He's
should.
the number
I'm
2
just saying,
receiver
like,
of
around-
receiving yards all time.
around here, with how that team has been, he just doesn't. He doesn't
Which
get
I
talked
feel
about.
really bad for him.
Oh yeah,
I
do too.
really,
100%.
I
He should
will-
have a ring.
I would be very happy if the Cardinals won a Super Bowl. As much as I don't want Kyler Murray to get a Super Bowl because
Just
he,
trade.
he doesn't deserve
Fitzgerald.
it.
Yeah, get him out of there.
Yeah.
They could have won a Super Bowl when they
Well,
had
he just won
Kurt
Rookie of the
Warner.
Year.
I
They're not going
know.
to get rid of him.
But I can't believe they never won that Super Bowl. That would have been
Against
Right.
Steelers?
Yeah.
That was a
And they
pretty
had
good
Kurt
Super Bowl.
Warner, and that was a really good Super Bowl.
I mean, the first play of the game was that kick return
Yeah.
for a touchdown.
I
How
remember
else
that.
do you start a Super
Yeah.
Bowl? That's insane.
Dude, that honestly is probably one of the better Super Bowls we've actually ever been alive to watch.
I actually think we're in the best era of Super Bowls right now.
I do too.
Not
I
this
feel-
year. I said that last
Yeah.
week. Not this year. I thought this Super Bowl was but I thought the Rams and Patriots last year was okay. Obviously, I thought Philly and Patriots was fantastic, but it was fucking most
Yeah,
it was the most yards in a
that's the
NFL
kind of
game
Super,
ever.
That's the kind of Super Bowl you want.
But I thought Super Bowl 50 was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
for
yeah.
being there was a good stretch of years. I think this year was just okay.
Yeah.
I expected so much more from
Especially
two
since-
huge QBs.
Yeah, especially since
yeah,
the
but-
wrong team won.
Yeah.
What?
Hey.
So the wrong team won.
Yeah.
But you guys can agree with me, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
video
It
games
has
nowadays.
been.
It's
And
bigger.
it is. Well, you just look. How many times do they have gaming competitions throughout the year now?
Yeah, I'm
It's-
happy
it's
it's becoming
growing
a
a
sport.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually sponsored. You got people sponsored by all these different companies, and who actually that's what they do. They game. You know, they're making a lot of money. I've seen, what was it, Rainbow Six tournament one time. The winner got, it was a 5-team person, and they each basically got about 25 grand a piece for playing in a tournament. I'm in the wrong
insane,
profession
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
No,
it's,
to bring in that kind of bank off something as simple as that is
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's what I mean.
And
There's
that's it.
colleges that are starting to accept it as like a
Oh, yeah.
sports
Yeah.
program
Yeah.
now too.
I mean,
It's,
people just hate that they pair the word sport with it because
Yeah.
sport's always been the physical
like
athleticism
athletic.
thing.
Yeah.
So
But-
you up it out essential. It's not like an official sport,
Yeah.
but it is
They
a
have
club.
it there,
It's
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it's a mental athleticism thing.
Well, and that's
you
it.
can't do what those guys do. You don't have the finger
Yeah.
movements and the IQ and the knowledge.
And
to-
I've
to
seen
pull that shit
actual
off.
back when I used to play StarCraft on the
Yeah.
computer. They used to release these little info things here and there about the average StarCraft player can multitask and has their do so many functions within a certain amount of time more than anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking of they gotta analyze their situation, they gotta plan. They also gotta, they're using one hand on a mouse, the other's on a keyboard. They gotta know where all their buttons are and pay attention totally.
Yeah.
So the fact that, it takes a higher, I'm not saying you gotta be like Einstein smart to do this, but it does take a level of, higher ability
Oh yeah, 100%.
within the mind
It's
in
not
order to do
something
that.
everyone can do. It's something only a small percent can do to that level.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it deserves credos like it does. Because people who play a lot of games, I mean, look at like Twitch and the rise of Mixer and stuff like that recently is insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
That
people
stuff is
love
taking
watching
off.
that crap. I mean, it's might as well. I mean, why not make it? I think I've seen a couple times where they've aired it on actual national TV, where it's on like TBS or
Yeah.
it's on one of those weird channels that doesn't get a lot of attention. But it's like, yeah, we're doing a Rainbow tournament, or it's like a Fortnite tournament. I'm all for it, even if
Yeah.
it's games I hate. At least it gets the awareness out
And that's
right.
it.
that like we're pushing the envelope, and that's what you want. Before we end off, I got a couple more little fun things here. So,
Oh God, I don't want to know.
okay, there's a man, and I believe it's Alabama. He's on trial for murder right now, for murdering his lawyer, and the state gave him a new lawyer. And the whole article is about the lawyer's point of view on the situation. And how
I'm scared.
he will only speak to him through like glass and like with guards present and
Why would you kill your lawyer?
Why would you actually like take that case as
Yeah.
a lawyer?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta
when you just sit
understand.
back like, yeah, this guy killed his lawyer. No.
Well,
Like
and
that instantly should be like, oh, okay.
one
I'm
thing you
not
gotta
touching
understand
that.
though, have you ever seen the movie Law Abiding Citizen?
No.
Okay. There are firms who will take it, and the head of the firm will basically say, "Okay, assign this person to that case."
Yeah.
You're doomed.
Yeah.
You're stuck to that, whether it's a
You're
sinking
doing it
ship
whether you
or
want
not.
it or not.
So the best part is if you get stuck to that, you just do your damnedest to win. So that at least that way you come out with some type of, win on it.
And you're still actually alive, maybe.
Oh, that too. Yeah. that's also a big plus is still living.
Dude, that's just like. Why would you?
Like,
kill
what do
your
you
lawyer?
think
Why?
when you're that guy's lawyer? Like, what happens if you piss him off by accident? Like, I don't know if we can get you off. Like, what the shit? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's
We'll get
exactly
you
what,
off.
that's
We'll get you
exactly the
off.
last thing the last lawyer said.
We're looking
Fucking
at
asshole.
You sound just like Gil. That's why.
we're looking at 10 to 15. At what? I could bump it down to maybe 5.
It's like you better go strapped if you do
Yeah.
it.
I got one last question for everyone before we wrap it up, because we're getting around that time now. There's a story that came out recently of some Korean woman where she was like able to reconnect with her daughter through virtual reality, like VR goggles and all that shit.
Jeez.
How far off do you think we are until like we can digitize like consciousness?
No,
Because that's
I don't-
when you do that, you're pretty much immortal in a
Yeah,
way.
I don't feel. I don't know.
I mean,
How
that's
we-
because that's there's a movie that touched on it a while back.
Transcendence.
Transcendence, thank you,
Yes.
with Johnny Depp.
Yes.
Is it Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really interesting movie. It's kind
It
of
is.
weird, but it's interesting. Where he actually digitizes his consciousness.
Yeah.
How far off do you think we are from something like that?
I still think we probably got a ways to go on that, but I don't. Just in like the world we live in, the way it is now, it's so like technologically focused.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've made a lot of ground just in the past decade.
Yeah, because I
Toward
mean
that
nowadays we can make chips and processing units and CPUs that are almost like that are astoundingly advanced that can
Yeah.
hold just unbelievable amounts of memory and information.
Right.
Probably to not the extent of the human brain, but within reason.
Right.
I think the closest thing we've got to that is the people who have like the thing in their throat from smoking, and they put the thing up to it.
That's what
That's
you're
the
comparing
farthest-
this
That's
to?
the farthest.
How are you comparing that? What's a microphone?
Oh man. I would have to say, given our current standings and looking at the possible foreseeable future, I'd hate to say it, but to that point, probably about 40 to 50 years.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's
I think
kinda
it's
what I-
Because right now we're too focused
Well, it's also
on
one thing.
A
Who the
war.
hell's working on that kind of shit?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's-
and you know, we see this kind of stuff in the movies, and it's easy to portray it in a movie. But to think of, you're essentially taking someone's consciousness and turning into digital code and putting it out there. It's not an easy step. Like just
Yeah.
what they went through with that whole process through that movie.
yeah.
It's just them working day and night, hour after hour. It took them still like months.
See,
And that was them putting their hardest into it. And that was
Yeah.
smart people doing that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. But, I
It
mean,
would it if it's not something they're focused on like Die Hard, I'd say 40 to 50 years.
yeah.
see, I think it'll be like. This is gonna sound really bad, but like we need like a Nazi Germany focused like research crew.
Hey,
Jesus.
Like you know,
Whoa.
you gotta look at this though. Okay, so
so
they're-
they
non-restricted
were
research.
were
work.
seriously focused on advancing their shit.
Oh yeah. Well, it's because there's no
You
restrictions
need,
on research.
Like
No.
I'm not saying we need
There
another
wasn't
Nazi
like a moral
Germany,
code.
You're just
to it.
ripping
but
people
like
in half.
you
and
need
just-
to be as focused as they were to do
Shoveling
something.
people-
Especially for their time. They were.
I mean,
advanced.
you don't
Yeah,
need,
that's what I'm
the
saying.
only
Like
reason
you
don't
need to stay
do that
focused.
is because it's not like we're rushing for this.
I know, but like
They were
Are
rushing
you
to
trying to
win.
kind
Kind
of
of
done
mi-
like now?
Yeah, we don't.
I'm saying, if you want it soon,
That's the mindset.
that's the mindset. Just don't kill the Jews again.
We need to do something.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
We're watching you.
I got something that it's nothing new. It happened like towards the end of last year, September, October. It's just the news behind it was so crazy. I just heard about it from a coworker this weekend, and I actually had to look into it to find out what it was about to see if it was even real because I didn't believe it. Supposedly, there was a man in Illinois. Now I'm not gonna go into names or all that. Who, after he had died, his family, you know, of course, they go through the whole will process, and they went to his residence and started, you know, sorting through his stuff. Found about 2,200 perfectly preserved aborted fetuses.
Oh God, yeah. I heard about this.
Yeah, he used to work at an abortion clinic, and it's still unknown what his motives were with them.
Two main ones.
But the fact that he had 2,200 aborted fetuses.
See,
You could go diving in that.
there's one main thing with this. It was about money. He was either selling it.
What? Who are you
Well-
gonna sell a fetus to?
Black market.
What
Okay.
are they gonna do with it?
well, but no,
Dude,
okay.
there's so much shit on the
Stem cell
black
research,
market.
right?
Yeah,
But yeah, the stem cell research. Two, it's just too expensive to get rid of. It's one or the other.
I just imagine
It's
that
expensive
guy,
to dispose of that kind of
he's
stuff.
doing like what South Park does with the Superman dude, where he's just snapping necks and like slurping stem cells.
Slurping stem cells to give it.
Turns into a hole.
But yeah, I had saw that.
Christopher
And
Reed, don't you?
Yeah.
That is messed up.
I didn't believe it at first, so I had to look it up, and yeah, it's a real
You
thing.
can literally.
It's a
How many fetuses does it take to fill a swimming pool?
Probably 2200. You probably want
Well,
probably enough.
swimming.
well,
A
not
lot.
only that, they were all perfectly preserved. How big was this residence in order to
How
hold
many freezers did he have?
2,200?
Like, are they just double stacked
fetuses.
Minecraft chests of just fetus? Like,
It's impressive.
Big old walk-in freezer in his basement, just all alphabetized
Like honestly,
by date.
no.
those numbers are just
No
impressive.
That is very impressive.
That's-
it's very impressive.
Like, how did they not find this sooner?
Well, and
with
that's
that
it.
many?
Not only that,
The stench.
how was he able
Oh,
to?
dude.
They were perfectly preserved. That's
Still.
awesome.
Okay,
Those
yeah,
are
that's
taxes.
true.
How did he get all of them there? How
He
did
said he was
no
a doctor
one know?
who's like,
He used to work in an abortion clinic. He was a doctor who used to work in an abortion
think they'd
clinic.
have
they
a lot of
take inventory at
protocols.
abortion
Yeah.
clinics.
I
Like,
don't know.
You think they would have a
Listen,
lot
like
of like
60
precautionary
fetuses this
protocols?
week.
Well, and that's it. The fact that
Maybe
this
they just got lost.
guy had gone 2,200 fetuses to his home. No one knew about it. Not even his
Fetus
closest
eye.
family. Whatever. Anyway, the fact that he got all of them there
Alright, no.
without a single person knowing is the biggest surprise ever.
I think this is a great way to end
You
the
guys
episode.
find way
I
too
think
many
this is
fucked up things.
he's just bringing up like one of those money bags, the knapsack money bags of fetuses, like just waving at the neighbors. It's fucking bleeding out the back.
It's like,
All right, that's
No, okay.
He does it during Christmas, so he just dresses up like Santa
That
Claus,
is
stuffs them
plenty
all
of
in a bag.
detail.
Plenty of detail.
plenty of details.
Hey, fetuses are always funny. Feed us, right? Remember?
fetus, fetus. Fetus.
Remember fetus poppers from high school?
No, but I do remember the pizza abortion clinic.
Mario's Pizzeria and
It's an abortion clinic. Your loss is our sauce.
Exactly.
Were you not part of that conversation about the fetus thing with Connor?
I don't think he was.
I don't
think it was
know.
just
Connor
our
wanted to start a restaurant with Keegan, serving fetus poppers
Oh
As
God.
fetus.
as a way. To,
I didn't hear this.
What is this, Futurama
No,
here?
it's a way to reuse fetuses. As he's gonna deep fry fetuses as fetus
Oh,
poppers.
Christ.
And the logo for Connor and Keegan's place was feed us.
Why are we so messed up?
Why does it not surprise me that those two were the ones to come up with that though?
It's fucking great though.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Mikey, this was in the library in high
No
school.
more.
The amount of people who were just like,
What the fuck?
These kids are gonna be the ones that end up in prison.
On another note, something that's recent that's happened early this week that I've been keeping my eye on. I told you about this that Jussi Smollett. He has been indicted on 6 counts for falsifying the information.
still? I
Yeah.
thought that was over
Well,
already.
it was. It's come back to light now, and they're pushing against him, and the 2 accomplices or whatever supposed are at this like point urging him, and have actually publicly said that they are praying he will tell the truth. So they're urging him to come forward and just say already, hey, I falsified this. I wasn't actually, there wasn't an actual hate crime.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. But that happened earlier the week. As far as I know, for what I've looked up throughout this week, it's still sitting just kind of in limbo of where they're going. But yeah, at one point it came to light, and then it was just shoved aside. But yet, no, it's back. And it looks like he actually might be looking at the end of his career.
His career's over. He was on, they say career for him. He
Yeah.
was on Empire. That show sucked.
Yeah, he didn't
Like,
do anything.
that's not has ever been done before.
Nobody thinks that's important. He's
Go figure. But, well, that's about all the time we have. So, anybody else got anything extra? No?
Nope.
No,
We're all good.
okay. As always, this is the weekly special.
Smegma.
Expect
Smith.
No.
Expect
No.
us every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. That's normally when we release. So, until next
Cheers.
week.